can see that. So just to start with, I've been a regular presenter at this event for the last few years, and I just want to. The first part really is about who I am. I'm the post-16 SEM manager at Cheshire West and Chester. My role is very specific around managing the education and healthcare plans, but we have obviously statutory duties as well, and we aim to work as closely as possible with parents, our settings, and other local authority provisions and throughout the local authority. I've got a colleague from Young People Service, Ruth Johnson, who's also on the call, and she's going to just do a very brief update about what the Young People Service. Ruth, if it's all right, we do that at the end, and she'll just give you a bit of the support that her service can offer. The main point of today is to follow on from Karen's presentation, and hopefully, as I say, reassure you about the support that's available for you and your young person going through what I totally appreciate is a challenging time, and also that there is a lot of support there for both young people and parents in these quite challenging times that we face. So that's the aim of my presentation. So it's an interactive session, so I'm more than happy, as I say, to take questions. And I mentioned at the end that we take questions. That's fine. If we run out of time, I'm more than happy if you contact me directly or Barney, and we'll do our best to answer the questions. What we've tried to do over the last number of years is to improve communication, not only with our parents and young people, but across the board, to ensure that we have a far more comprehensive offer and it's information available to you, so you're able to make informed choices. And I know that Karen's mentioned about the interactive tool that we use on Live Well, which has gone down well. It was, I think Karen mentioned, it was designed by young people for young people. So it is there to help you. But as I say, I fully appreciate that it's a challenging time once young people leave school. Myself have two young people have just one's just left school and one was completed their GCSEs, and even for someone who's in a mainstream setting, as my sons are, options are wide and varied. You want as much information as possible, so I do empathise with people, and that's what we're trying to do. So, in relation to preparing for adulthood, the Code of Practice is our Bible, and it's used and has a chapter in it called Preparing for Adulthood. My advice and the conversations we have with the school is that we need to start as early as possible. And what we've been working with the Parent Carer Forum on is to try and have a much more consistent offer, so that again you're informed of what the options are. In relation to the areas that we focus on with preparation for adulthood, it's about employment, it's about independent living, friends and community, and healthy living, and that's within the chapter 8 of the SEN Code of Practice. And those are the areas that we focus on as a local authority in terms of developing the skills that young people need and require to move on to live healthy and fulfilling lives. So we use that as our benchmark in terms of how we work with our young people and with our partners. I'll take you through the presentation, but key areas are around ensuring that we ensure young people gain employment. So I certainly advise you to look at that chapter and use it as a guide in terms of what a good quality transition from young people moving from school or to further education or from wherever, how it should be managed. And again, just reiterating it, the importance of consistency is obviously important, and also in terms of the knowledge that you have as parents and young people. I'm sure everyone's aware of this, and I do apologise if this is teaching people to suck eggs, but I think it's important. In terms of the learning styles, there's a variety of learning styles that young people can move on to once they're through the post-16 journey. So there's work-based qualifications, and that can vary from apprenticeships, traineeships, sports and internships. And again, colleagues will talk in detail at a later date about these. But they are practical learning work environments. They're always industry-related qualifications, and the aim at the end of the day for all these programs is employment. And again, we push that from a local authority. That's a key strand for us to ensure that young people have the necessary skills to move on to employment. Again, I'll talk about each of these areas in a bit more detail later in the presentation. In terms of the vocational opportunities and qualifications, they can vary again. They're qualifications that can be run through BTEC, through NVQ or ASDAN, and they are practical activities. Some young people, as you'll expect, vocational practical type activities are far more to their meeting their needs than an academic route. So there are local colleges who provide that, and a recent visit to one of our local colleges shows that the quality that we're talking about. They are industry led, they're industry linked, and they do provide in this instance, some of the colleges that we have world-class facilities designed to meet the needs of our young people. The recent visit, actually, Karen and I visited the local college. I was immensely impressed about what the offer was there, and the opportunities that our young people have in this borough. The final area is the academic route. It's the formal style. It's the GCSE and A levels, and again, obviously, we have schools who provide that sort of support, and that's much more about the academic route towards further and higher education in relation to A levels and then on to university. So obviously those are opportunities as well for our young people, and again, we have excellent provisions across the borough who are able to support our young people. So those are the main areas that young people have in terms of the options, their learning styles. So in terms of the types, we've talked about the learning styles. These are the types of providers that we have in borough. So we have training providers who work with our young people. It's much smaller in terms of the larger FE colleges. Industry related, normally work-based learning and vocational qualifications, and also apprenticeships. And again, we have providers in the area who are able to provide that. Again, the push from us is that we want to ensure that they have our young people have the necessary skills to move on into employment. Further education colleges, again, a larger college environment, and offering a range of vocational subjects, again, work-based and vocational. We have a number of colleges in this area, Cheshire College, Warrington Vale Royal College, who have a base in Warrington and Winsford. Cheshire College have bases in Crewe, Ellesmere Port and Chester. And we also work with Rees Heath College in Nantwich, who are much more animal based. And then we have learners also at Coleg Cambria in North Wales. We have learners on the Wirral Metropolitan College in Birkenhead. And we also have a few, but we've had at Liverpool, the City of Liverpool Community College. And also we've had a few more recently at Riverside College in Widnes. So there are lots of options, and there's lots of provisions out there for young people. And I have to say that the quality is high. There are also sixth form colleges in this area. So we have Sir John Dean's, a large college environment, primarily academic. There are some vocational, but primarily academic. And again, that's a very high performing sixth form college. In terms of mainstream schools and sixth forms, obviously there's a variety and a significant number of colleges across the borough, from the Northwich Winsford side to Ellesmere Port and Chester. So there are a lot of academic schools available who provide A levels, etc. and GCSEs. Excuse me. And also, obviously, we have our specialist provision. We have a significant amount of specialist provision who also provide education beyond 16, and dependent on the needs of the young people and a variety of needs. So again, from my perspective, we do have a wide and varied array of education and training providers who are able to support our young people. Again, talking about was thinking about what Karen mentioned. That is available information is available on Live Well in more detail about what the offer is from these providers. So in terms of further education, a bit more detail. Further education is increasing in terms of the options available, and there are significant amount of providers out there who are providing these types of programs. So a study program is a full-time foundation program in a variety of areas, and it's available at all our local colleges. It's full-time provision. Some of the challenges that we face, full-time provision within a further education is 540 guided learning hours, which can be 3 days. It sometimes stretches to 4, but just to mention that it is normally three days. Obviously, on top of that, there's also the vocational qualifications and work-related courses, again, in a wide variety of vocational areas. Again, I'm just reiterating that the world-class standard of these courses that are being able to be provided by our colleges in this area, and they can vary from construction engineering, motor vehicle, hospitality, business administration, IT, animal care. So there's a wide variety of courses available, and depending on the level, it depends on the length of time the course takes. Obviously, also that we've got the academic qualifications, which is obviously AS levels, and again that's available across the borough. Relatively new over the last few years is technical qualifications, or T levels. These are high level qualifications, but they are linked with work experience as well. And again, the aim is to get those higher level employment opportunities. So they're starting to come on board now, and certainly more information is available through our local colleges, because Cheshire College and I think Warrington Vale Royal now are looking to put these qualifications on. And there is certainly a push from government to develop these qualifications, with the aim being employment long term. But they are just higher level qualifications at sort of level 2 and level 3, which is equivalent to A level standard. So again, more options that have come on over the last year or two. My colleague James Holden, I think he's on next, will talk in detail about supported internships. I just want to reiterate, from a local authority perspective, this is an area that we are, listening to what Karen had said, pushing as a local authority. We are the only local authority, to my knowledge, who are actually directly delivering supported internships, and we are looking to increase on a year-by-year basis. There's certainly been a success this year. We're in our first year and moving, to our second year. So it's an area that we really feel, as a local authority and as an SEN team, that we need to develop and try and find as many opportunities as possible. The young people we work with deserve that and deserve our full support in gaining employment. So just a brief, as I say, James will talk about in detail about supported internships after my presentation, but it's designed to support young people into work. So it's for young people aged 16 to 24 who have an education healthcare plan, and the aim is to provide personalized, a flexible program of learning. So the first few months will be classroom based, looking at employability type skills, but also looking at English and maths and developing people's skills. And then the next stage is 6 months unpaid work experience. And that is, we're very clear, so from the providers we work with who offer sponsored internships, that employment is not only the aim, but is the necessity for the young people. And there is support available through a job coach, but we also try to support and align the opportunities that are available with the learner's aspirations. And I know from talking to our providers, there are significant opportunities in a variety of vocational areas. And at the end of the day, we're asking employers to offer paid employment. And also, if from a young person's perspective, encourage learners to apply for the vacancies within the organisation, and that has undoubtedly been success over the last year with our providers, even in the challenging COVID times where young people have achieved employment, which is something fantastic, and we need to be really pleased about. So it's certainly a programme that is developing more within the local area. Again, apprenticeships and supported apprenticeships, it's an area that we were focusing on, and Karen and I have regular conversations about this in relation to developing the opportunities for our young people. So an apprenticeship is employment with training, and also obviously with study. And obviously the main aim of an apprenticeship is the job at the end of the provision. But the young people actually earn a wage and get holiday pay. Might be an enticement, but they earn a wage while they're doing the course. Courses vary from 1 to 2 years, and again, they're in a variety of areas. They're nationally recognised qualifications. I was talking to a colleague the other day, and a friend of mine who's just offered an apprenticeship, and he's a farmer. He's just offered a farm qualification, and the first question I asked is, obviously depending on the quality of the young person, but you're looking to employ the young person, and that was a definite yes. And obviously with the young people that we work with, the support is available for people with additional needs, and there will be support for the young people while they're at college and if required on the job as well. In terms of entry requirements for a young person with additional needs, minimum requirements is entry level 3 at English and maths, and then the norm for an apprenticeship would be working at level 2, nationally recognised qualification at level 2. There is a variety of, as I said, vocational areas that young people can work at, and there is real opportunities at the end of the day, as I said, to get a job, and so that's another opportunity. Another thing that we certainly advise that young parents consider talking about with their young person is volunteering and accredited training, and that's all about gaining work experience. There are a variety of employers or volunteering organisations out there. One that springs to mind is Bernardo's, who will take on young people, and that offers work experience for these young people. It can also be in charity shops, and it gives them experience of face-to-face customer-facing roles, and offers that chance of developing skills towards employment. And again, you can also work with nationally recognised qualifications. So there's real opportunities there as well, and developing the confidence and the skills required that employers are looking for. And finally, the area that we all aim for is employment, and there are support. And again, James, my colleague, will talk about it in more detail. We do have support through our teams with supported employment and self-employment. And again, we have young people who've gone down both those routes and developed the skills, certainly through self-employment, that developed their own business, and worked, so they are self-sufficient. But also we have our supported employment team, as I say, that James will be talking about, where we're there to support young people and families in terms of developing the skills necessary to gain employment. That's a big push from the local authority. So in terms of the local authority, Cheshire West and Chester, I've talked about the options, the learning styles, the academic options available. From a local authority perspective, our aims are very much about transition and about partnership working and co-production, about working with families and providers to ensure that we have the right provision available. We've obviously got the transition brochure, which is available on Living Well, and it's there to provide that support and the information required to make informed decision. The other areas haven't actually mentioned is around not the need not in education, employment, and training. What our aim is, without doubt, is to reduce those numbers and increase participation. We want to see young people flourish. We want to see young people have the opportunities that they are entitled to, and there are significant providers available there to support you and your young person move on and participate and lead fulfilled lives. And that's a definite aim from mine and my colleagues' perspective. I hope you've seen the passion in my voice. I really do want to see the number of employment opportunities increased. And as Karen mentioned, when we have challenges in the past with what we consider to be the quality of provision in our area, we are very clear that we want to improve it and improve the opportunities that our young people have. As I mentioned, we are the only local authority that I'm aware of who directly deliver supported internships, but we are also working with other providers such as Cheshire College, Warrington Vale Royal, Pettypool, and Wirral Met College, who are also providing supported internships. It's not that we want to take over, we want to increase those opportunities and work in partnership to ensure those opportunities are there. The other area is obviously in local provision, and we have a constant challenge from ourselves to measure what provision we have and analyse that and look at the data to see whether there are any gaps. And we work very closely through the preparation for Adulthood strategy group and through other meeting groups to try and look at that and improve that. And I mentioned before, we've been working very closely with Cheshire College and Warrington Vale Royal and other providers, College Cambria, to look at what areas where there gaps are and how we can fill those gaps and increase and improve the provision that we currently have. And to be honest, we do have very good working relationships with our colleges, and they have been immensely supportive in terms of the provision that they're putting on for us. And again, the final thing is, from my perspective, and I'm sure yourselves, we want a seamless transition from children to adult services. We want to ensure that there is as much information available for you and much information that you're able to make informed choices. And again, my colleague Kath Hingston, I think she's presenting tomorrow from Transitions team. We work very closely there to ensure that we have those working relationships and ensure that there is information available for you and your young person. So to conclude, above all, remember there's options and support are available. We have my team within special educational needs. We have Karen's team. Ruth will talk a bit about young people service in a minute. And we are here to help you. We're here to provide as much support as we possibly can, and with the aim of ensuring that we have young people going down a route that is suitable for them and long term, that they're able to lead fulfilled lives. I mentioned at the start about the SEN Code of Practice and about chapter 8 in terms of preparation for adulthood and the importance of starting early, and also to have informed choices. So use the Live Well site and use colleagues within SEN and Young People Service in terms of providing that information that's you're required to make informed choices. As I've said throughout, we are and always will be looking to focus on improving our provision within borough. We have been doing that over the number of years I've been part of the local authority, and we continue to do that. We work closely with our providers. We look at the data to see where the gaps are. We work with our parent carer forums to identify where they feel we need to improve, and we have been doing that over the last year in terms of trying to improve communication, which we identified as a challenge, and we'll continue to do that. And we like to feel that we're a local authority who develop good practice and also are very clear within the SEN team and the SEN, the wider SEN providers and within the local authority that we look to improve what we've got within borough, and that's why we developed the supported internship programme. So I hope you found that informative. I'm just going to pass you over to Ruth. who talk a bit more about the young people service, and any questions after that, that's fine. So if I just come out of that. Ruth, just over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Paul. Just to introduce myself, my name's Ruth Johnson. I'm one of the senior practice leads for Young People Services. There's two of us, and we've got a team of 18 staff who work across the borough in every school, mainstream and SEN schools, and every college that Paul has mentioned. So we have staff in all of those places. So your young people should have access to us. I'm going to put our email address into the chat box in a minute. So if you do have any questions or you want to know how to access Young People Services, please just email that address and I'll get back to you. Just to kind of give an overarching of what we do, we provide guidance and advice. Our workers are called transition and participation workers, and that is all about everything that Paul has discussed there in terms of helping your young people to make some decisions. Our advice is impartial, and we will discuss with your young people what their options are. It's for them to make those decisions with some help and support and advice. So that's why we work so closely with Paul and his team to ensure that they're given impartial advice and guidance, and that they can learn from that and make some informed decisions about their adulthood and prepare for their adulthood. So, as I say, I'll put the email address in the chat box just now, and please ask any questions on the chat box or email through and we'll answer them as quickly as we can.
Thank you. Okay, that's the